And how, like, and just going back a little bit, like, it's your mum, and then it's crazy. It's like the cycle of life, isn't it? It's mad. Because like you lost your mum, and then a few weeks later you've had your child. And then plus obviously you're then having to deal with that and try to focus and study and better yourself academically as well.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to cope with all of that? Because that's a lot to happen. Even in isolation, that's bad enough. But to sort of have it all kind of happening around the same time frame, I mean, like, how did you find, because your mum went very early.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, how did you kind of cope with the grief of that firstly, and then how did you kind of then find the strength to have the concentration to study? Let's face it, because that's such a short time for it to have happened.
I'll be honest with you. I think I always say, like, for 2 years after Mum passed, I was a zombie. I think I was a little bit of a zombie. I was traumatized by it. I think at the time, obviously, with the cycle of life happening around me, my ex-partner's, my ex-wife's pregnant.
Yeah.
Mum is dying. It really shows me about not having control over this life that we have, not really having a real say so, because with that, my mum's passing away, which is dying on us, and we're sad. But this joyous thing is happening at the same time as well. It's almost like these two forces going like that, literally conspiring against each other. And I don't know whether to feel happy. I don't know whether to feel sad. Whatever it is. I was a zombie for 2 years after Mum died. Going to uni it came at a time where it was probably really positive for me that I had uni, actually, because the possibility of wallowing is always there when you go through such a change. And if you wallow, you can often turn it into a lifestyle. And with that lifestyle can come very dysfunctional ways to you, and you've created all these new ways of living, which isn't my style. You know me, I've worked all my life. I'm quite a social person. I'm here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, for those 2 years, it was tough. And I think what uni presented to me was an opportunity to remind myself of my capabilities. Remind myself that actually, despite these unfortunate circumstances happening to you, you are still capable of making something of yourself. My mum was a cognitive behavioural counsellor. You know that. Like, she would often encourage conversation and often encourage looking within and internal positivity to make sure that you're being able to push yourself, because sometimes it's about counselling yourself. I think it's not about necessarily, at a time when my mum died, it was very easy for me to kind of go to people and want empathy all the time. Yeah, empathy is good, but you can also make that a lifestyle and look for it for too long. And then 2-3 years down the line, you're still looking for people to be sorry for you.
Yeah.
I think what I did was say, all right, this is an event that's happened. My daughter coming along, and it's my only child, like, it's my first time. So I'm learning about myself during that as well. So with that being said, I think I always say, I feel like my daughter saved me a lot, because because she came, I had a responsibility immediately. So to some degree, I didn't have an opportunity to even wallow. And I'm happy for that, obviously, because I'm able to rationalize what's gone on with me. So what I then did was say, okay, let's get myself into something. Let's go to uni. Let's with the help of my ex-wife as well. And we just decided to push forward in my dreams and say, okay, we're going to try and change the narrative here. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying this like I can articulate it now, but before I couldn't even put it into words. I didn't know what was happening. I was just I was doing and pushing. But with time and effort, you realize, times change. And, also, people say, like, it's very cliche to say time's a healer, but, if you allow yourself the time and space to understand the things that happen to you, you can also look for the solutions. 50% of the battle is understanding what's going on. The other part is actually making sure that you push on from that. And that's what I decided to do, cuz to be honest, that's all I decided to do. I just said I want to live a different life. I don't want to. I want to make sure that my partner at the time and my child are in a good place, and me being depressed for the rest of my life because of this terrible event isn't going to me to achieve what I want to achieve.